This episode of Aliens on the Border is brought to you by Guru Cats. Go check out gurucats.com and use promo code AOTB for 10% off anything in the store. I told you. Oh, shit, dude. What's up, man? Nah, I'm playing. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Aliens on the Border. And this is episode 200, by the way. So
we're the horns. They're
not on here. But this is episode 200, by the way. So we could do that.
Yeah, there
dude, it's we're 200 episodes in, bro.
We are 200.
Fucking crazy, right?
I remember when we were just wee lads, having started the 20th episode or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like 30.
And now it's been 7 years. Now I don't know how long it's taken.
4.
Like 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, it's been 4 years.
Wow,
2018 was February of 2018 was the establishing date.
Well, really, honestly, with the rebirth of the podcast, which happened back in November of last year.
Oh, that's true.
I kind of feel like that's a good jumping off point from when we started, like, all right, let's be a little more serious about it. And I feel like it's kind of shown.
Nevertheless, dude. Nevertheless.
200
episodes.
I'm not downplaying it.
And we have a very special guest today that hasn't been around for a long time. Shit, dude. I think the last episode you were on was like not even in
It was before 100.
It was before 100.
Yeah, it was before 100.
It's been quite a while, but ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Digital Jeff.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. And let's play the theme song that you guys love. And I love too.
Aliens on the Border.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found.
Faster than light, spaceship of the future.
By direction of the President of the United States, stay in your home.
Is it human or inhuman? Earthly or unearthly?
Born in that swirling inferno of radioactive dust, there is no word to describe them.
We may be witnesses to a biblical prophecy come true.
Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension?
Is this the human race of the future?
Aliens on the Border.
If you're wondering what we're going to talk about today, and you haven't already guessed because, you know, we have one of the leading authorities in this new phenomenon. What do you want to call it?
It's blockchain technology.
Blockchain technology.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's a new technology.
It's a new technology. There you go. So it's not even a new phenomenon, but it's a new technology, and it's exploding. Right. It's
finally getting attention from a mass mainstream. I would say mainstream to a certain extent.
Yeah, I would
but
say
people
so.
still don't understand it. So I think that's what we're here to talk about today.
That's exactly right. And so we're be talking a lot about Web3. We'll start there and we'll make our way all the way up to what you've been working on now. But
which is a new show.
Yeah.
I'll hint at what we're gonna talk about in the latter. we're gonna talk about what Web3 is, and I think we said I wanna tease it here of my new show. I just got syndicated with Metaverse.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the name of the show shortly. But yeah, man, would love to talk into detail of what I'm doing because it's fucking crazy. It's
really
crazy
is.
Stories of what I'm doing.
It really fucking is, and I've get to see it through obviously like following on Instagram and stuff. So, and, you know, just going back and forth whenever we have the time, and it's just been a wild journey that I've been able to see, and you know, having you here under the circumstances or whatever, it could have been better, but you know, nevertheless, like a lot of shit has just been aligning. I think, right? Like,
yeah.
What? But never. Let's fucking jump into what Web3 is.
Yeah. What is that? Yeah.
I fucking don't know a lot about it. Roger doesn't know a lot about it. People listening.
Well, let me ask you guys. What do you guys, when you guys hear Web3, what do you guys think about?
I'm thinking like the metaverse stuff. The stuff that's coming up, like digital real estate,
like Ready Player One,
crypto, NFT, yeah,
crypto, NFTs.
When I hear Web3, I'm like, there was Web 1 and 2. That's my thought at first. I was like, well, what do you mean Web 3? I didn't know that there was previous versions of this.
So that's actually a good way to break it down. There's Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. So Web 1 was back in the early mid-90s, and that's when people would be able to put something out on the internet and people could read it. It's just that people could read it. You can it was like the information. Yeah, I think they were tagging it as an information superhighway. That was the official tagline. And so you could just read information, and you own your own website. You would own your own website, right? I was one of the ones that had my own website, launched it in 2002. I actually built my first website in 97 or 98. 98. Built my first website.
Damn.
Yes.
That's
aging me big time here. I was in middle school, so there we go.
I was 5 years old.
Yeah. But so that's web 1, where you can, you go to a website, you type in the domain name, and then you just read it. You can't interact with it. There's no like button. There's no way for you to leave a comment. And then web 2 is kind of like in the era where YouTube, MySpace, Facebook, or the Facebook at that time.
Yeah.
Where you can actually everybody can upload and share information, and you can now create communities. Like you would create a website, like the Facebook, you would create your own profile, right? And then you're able to find things that people or that you're interested into. You can create a group, and then you're just sharing like your own public, personal. You're putting your personal life out there. People are like chatting with you about that. You start networking with people from different places, different parts of the world, and everything's great because now you can read and write. Web 1 was read, web 2 is read and write. You can now write things without knowing any code. My mom uses Facebook just probably better than I use it. So it's easier for anybody to be part of this Web 2.0. Now with Web 3.0, where it gets interesting is because now you can read, write, and own. And the own part comes from being able to participate with the blockchain through what we call a ledger. So it's a decentralized ledger where everybody can take ownership into their own. Whatever you create, you can upload. You can create a joke, a video of a joke, upload it as an actual file, like a video file as an NFT on the blockchain, and you own that joke, and somebody can buy it from you. You know what I mean? It's like, so you can now own everything that you create. So Web3 is simply the ability to own what you create on the blockchain. And let me go back, because I think I missed one important thing to talk about. With Web 2, you think about the people that won on Web 2. You think about Mark Zuckerberg, which owns it's a $1 trillion company. I mean, it's not worth $1 trillion, but the data they actually created, that they have access to, is actually worth trillions of dollars.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah. So now you own your own data, and you can decide, what you want to do with it. And all the apps that are being created now in Web3 will allow you to have more ownership of it. So, for example, like for you guys that have a podcast, you can literally upload every episode now onto the blockchain. And if somebody, you can actually sell each episode. Somebody can actually own each episode. And you might say like, oh, who's going to buy it, right? Well, you have a point. I'm not saying, but let's say tomorrow you go viral and there's 100 episodes uploaded. There's going to be somebody out there that's going to go buy each episode, right? Because these guys are on the come up. And now there's an ecosystem being built there, because in perpetuity, you get 10% of each transaction, up to 10% of each transaction moving forward every time one of your NFTs sells.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And we can talk about NFTs and Web3 and the metaverse, but that's kind of like that's a general way to understand what Web3 is. And then everything that's being built on Web3 is directly tied into the blockchain. And I think the biggest misconception comes in from us thinking that we're seeing it through the eye of the internet. It's not the internet.
All right, guys. If you guys love this episode, please make sure you support our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Guru Cats. It's a book series that's being developed into an animated series. They're dropping NFTs. They're dropping music. Details the story of 9 feline humanoids that saved their planet from the evil queen Kiva. Go to website gurucats.com. Use promo code AOTB for 10% off anything in the store, from the audiobook to caps to hoodies, T-shirts, everything that's in the store. That promo code is AOTB. Make sure you follow them on social media, on Instagram at GuruCats, and it's GuruCatz. GuruCatz. That's gurucatz.com, GuruCatz.com. Use promo code AOTB for 10% off anything in the entire store. Okay.
Yeah, we confuse the internet with blockchain right now. The blockchain is its own animal. It's like saying like electricity, it's technology by itself. The car, the airplane is a technology by itself.
Like there's two separate things.
It's two separate things. The internet is allowing us to use the blockchain, right? But the blockchain is its own independent technology. And once you start learning how the blockchain works, where there's a ledger, right? A public ledger, you start understanding how it could benefit in whatever area you're in. You can be in real estate. I know you mentioned real estate, Roger.
Yeah.
You can be in real estate. You can be, in production. You can be an entertainer. You could be an artist. Anything you can think of, you'll be able to apply it. You'll be able to use the blockchain to benefit you, where you can now own everything that you create. And it's going to change the world in the next 48 months. You'll see every single person will have a wallet with NFTs in it. Like there's no question about it.
I own a couple of NFTs.
I own 2 NFTs, one of which you gave me, and the other one I won in a giveaway.
Which one did I give you? The one with the pets, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have one that I bought from that minting website. What is it? Mints. I think it's Mints or whatever it was. The one that Alan had told us about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I got like one of the Disney ones off of there. But
that's actually pretty solid, man.
Yeah, it's pretty. It was a solid buy.
Fuck it. There's a lot that I want to get into, and
ask me more questions though, because I might be too far out there. I don't know.
No, I think that was a pretty clear explanation. But
I think just for like the common, I got into crypto and started just kind of. It's weird. I didn't really go into it to understand like the technology. I just wanted to figure out like the money and the flow.
All the money. That's all we care about.
Facts.
I kind of figured a lot of it had to do with decentralization, digital coin, and the lack of regulation on a lot of that stuff also, I think, was part of the thing that not lack, but the absence of it really did like kind of clue me in on it a little bit. But I know I've been reading like as of late, like the whole, I guess, push to regulate cryptocurrency really made the market suffer. So I lost a lot of, actually, you know what? I made my money and I only invested the stuff that I was gaining. So I know a lot, or I know a decent amount, maybe not as much as Jeff, but I know a decent amount about like crypto, specifically Bitcoin and altcoin, and the cycle that happens with that. I made some decent cash with it last summer. But NFTs, I understand like the value part of it. I don't really care. I don't really, not that I don't care. I don't really buy into the idea of like owning digital content. Like, especially when they say the whole thing about like, JPEGs, like you own these JPEGs that are like kind of recycled, like the whole, what is it, the Bored Apes or something like that.
Bored Apes, yeah.
Which is crazy. That's one of the most popular ones. Right?
Yeah, it's probably the most popular at this point. But can I interject?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm asking, like,
so
how does that relevance?
Let me break it down for you. Where the way I perceive it and see it, my point of view. So think about it like this. We were talking about Pokemon earlier. Think about being able to, if the blockchain existed when Pokemon launched, the first 1,000 believers of that, or the first 10,000 believers of that, of the idea of Pokemon, if you would have held one of those NFTs, the first collection, the Pokemon collection, and then Pokemon became what Pokemon is today, you would have been, those first 10,000 people would have won also with the company. It wouldn't have just been like, oh, Pokemon became a $1 billion company. It would have been those 10,000 people also became multi-millionaires. So you have the opportunity to now choose what projects make sense for you to buy a JPEG, because you're not really buying a JPEG. You're buying into IP, intellectual property, which is you got to start looking at the next Disney, the next Marvel, the next Pokemon. Those are the companies you got to look for. And not only that, but the next Facebook, the next, Tesla. You're pretty much investing into a team of people that are creating a new company on top of blockchain, which allows the people that own an NFT from that collection to also win as the value of the company goes up. So it's also like, it's pretty much you're picking, like, think about it like this. Aliens on the Border releases their own NFT collection. I believe in you guys, right? Since they want to be, I will buy one of your NFTs, knowing that in 2-3 years, the value of that NFT and the value of Aliens on the Border will be 100 times what I bought it for.
Let's talk a little bit about what I think I know exactly where, or not exactly where, but I feel like I have an idea of like why it almost feels like maybe dumb in a way.
Yeah.
Because like there's been a lot of projects that just
rug pull.
Yeah.
The rug pull projects.
Like. Okay, yeah, that just like, teams of people buy into, and then it's just bullshit.
So there's there's this term called rug pulls.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they mint a bunch of stuff, the guys make their money, and then they immediately like
disappear.
Yeah.
Vanish.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that, but to me, I also just like I've seen like the trend. I saw more recently that the what's it called? It actually came out today, which is funny that I was like reading through the whole thing, but like I read that like general interest and circulation of NFTs has gone down by like 95% since last summer. Like, have you heard about anything like that?
Not
what
really.
does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I'm thinking I think people are just holding on to the NFTs instead of trading them.
That's happening a lot with Bitcoin and altcoin right now too.
Yeah, because if you own an NFT and you really believe in the project, one, you're gonna hold on to that NFT for the long term. It's really hard. Like, for example, if somebody minted a Bored Ape at 0.06 ETH last year, a year and 2 months ago, and they would have held on to it until right now, which is probably nobody did it. But if they would have done that, they would already made millions of dollars with that 0.06, which would have been a total of like 0.06 right now would equal to like $150.
You're talking about Ethereum, like Ethercoin, yeah.
0.06 Ethereum.
If they would have lost money by now, wouldn't they?
Well, no, because if you mint at 0.06, you got one Bored Ape in your NFT, right? And you hold on to it, and you ride it all the way to May 4th, 2022. You would have already made millions of dollars of just one NFT.
Because
I'm trying to think. Okay, so wait, you mint at 0.6, right? And
just
then
$150 just to
okay. So what the value of the Bored Ape goes up itself for selling, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you don't officially sell it. Well, this is what happened. They actually, Yuga Labs actually ended up allowing their holders to get like airdrops of new NFTs. They also got rewarded with what they call the Ape Coin, which is a new cryptocurrency. And if you just kept that portfolio, accumulating your portfolio with all the
drops and
all the drops that the Yuga Labs created for their holders, you would have if you'd had the very minimal, like the least expensive Bored Ape, you would have had over $1 million in your portfolio right now. Damn. But nobody, I don't think nobody's crazy enough to hold, like, if somebody offers you, even $10,000 for something you minted for $150, anybody would take it.
Yeah.
Like,
I lost money on crypto. I had done I didn't buy into Dogecoin. I didn't buy into that, but I did get into Shiba, Shiba coin.
Shiba Inu.
And I did get I got ENS, which was the Ethereum name service one, and
that's pumping right now.
Yeah, and I got Ether, just because I know that was one of the more stable altcoins, and then I have Bitcoin that I've had holding for a while, which has really not benefited me at all. But I did start studying a little bit about crypto, and like I don't know how relevant it is or how right I am on it, but I do know that in general there are seasons for cryptocurrency specifically for Bitcoin and altcoin. And I know that they're separated. We've never talked about this because I think the last time you mentioned cryptocurrency, I kind of just was not into it. So over the summer, I was just bored, and I started looking into it, and I started buying, and I started learning. I started reading stuff and watching stuff on YouTube, and there was a massive. When was it? I think it might have been in like November. I think there was a massive upswing in crypto just before they announced that they were going to start working on regulating cryptocurrency and taxing exchanges. So I made I had a thing. Do you mind? Do you mind if I tell you? Okay, so I read that it works this way. And correct me if I'm wrong. And this is just me based on my experience, but you have Bitcoin and you have altcoin, right? And that the way that you're supposed to trade, or the way that they say is the best way to trade, is you invest in Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, you get the profits that you've gotten from that Bitcoin and you invest them into altcoin, because whenever Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go down. That's the general. I mean, that's not the case for every single altcoin.
Not financial advice.
Yeah, this is not financial advice, but and that's just
pure speculation.
That's the general like consensus among people, especially in the subreddit. That's the trend that they say. When Bitcoin's going up, most altcoins go down, right? So you buy the dip for the altcoins based on whatever you've made from Bitcoin, right? And then you reverse that, and you just kind of stack money based on that from there.
Yeah, you always stack your Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I
stack your sats.
So I made a good amount, enough to carry me through the time when I was jobless. So that's amazing, saying something. So I made a decent amount, and then I was lucky. Well, not lucky, but I was smart with. I knew that the moment that they were going to announce regulations, that people were going to panic and do a massive rug pull, and that's what happened. All the whales, which are the people who are just fucking
manipulating,
big cock, fucking oil princes. They just go and they drop stacks on a cryptocurrency. It drives the market value for it crazy, and people start buying in. As soon as that value goes up, they pull out, and that ends up making the market cap for it suffer and stuff like that. And so that's in general what I was doing. I was trading based off of the trend for it, and luckily when I had that huge like upswing, I got out when I could. at the peak, I think Ethereum at that point hit its highest, which was like
45.
Yeah, 45.
Damn.
So I at that point I was just like, I'm out, right? And I got all of my profits. I left my initial investments, but I got all my profits out. So then the dip started, and then that's when I was just like, and I felt bad because I was just like, the general. What do you hear most of the time when you see the cryptocurrency dipping? Buy the dip, right? Everybody tells you gotta buy the dip. And then there was memes coming out. It's like when they tell you to buy the dip, but it keeps dipping. So that's what it was. I've seen lately, and this is just based off of my Coinbase app. I use two apps. I use crypto.com and Coinbase. Just based off of those, and the frequency of alerts, I've been like, oh shit, there's some life showing again finally. And I think it's usually entering into summer that you start seeing that kind of uptick in that. I don't pay attention to NFTs at all. I feel like I should. Sometimes I really feel like I should, but I also don't have money to risk on that. What do you think about that? What do you think about the general consensus, not consensus, but the general feeling of there's a lot of risk going into it?
Oh, it's a very volatile market, man. If you don't have, money to lose, I would say just research and learn. You don't need a lot of... The beautiful thing about this, you don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money. I made my first small fortune with a couple of $1,000s. Put it into the right token, studied the token well, put it in, did 100x on it, and I was like, oh shit, I would have never made this making videos.
For real.
Just because I'm curious, and I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What's a small fortune? Don't give me the number. Just I'm gonna give you a number. You tell me higher or lower. 25,000.
More than 25,000.
Oh shit, 50.
A little bit more than 50. Yeah.
Oh shit, bro, that's crazy. Damn. So you got in at a very good point. Then how long ago did you start investing?
So crazy. I bought my first Bitcoin like in 2013.
Damn,
So,
no shit.
Yeah, and actually, my first purchase was 200 Bitcoin.
Oh my god.
And what did you do with all that?
Mom, I hope mom's not listening, but I actually bought some drugs.
The
only way you could buy,
like deep web.
Yeah, so the only way you could buy drugs back in the days was through
Bitcoin.
With
Right?
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like there was this thing called Silk Road in the deep web.
Yeah, the Onion.
If you got a Tor
Tor.
browser.
Torrents,
Yeah, if you had a Tor browser, you can fucking go onto Silk
So-
Road. and
Oh,
shit.
now it's getting interesting. I did not know this side of Jeff, dude. So, what kind of drugs are we talking?
I mean,
bro?
I bought like
shrooms.
regular, like shrooms and like LSD.
Oh,
and
okay.
like, yeah, regular. Like for me, those are regular. I didn't buy like heavy drugs. I would say.
Yeah, like not fucking
like cocaine.
not
or
like
shit.
Tecatito shit. Just like
Yeah,
some shit, you know.
Yeah, so
Like some
I
mind
ended up,
expansion.
yeah, and then I forgot what happened. Oh, Mount Gox happened, and I had like a couple of Bitcoin left, maybe like I'll say like 2 or 3, and I lost those. I lost my wallet got lost.
No.
And yeah, that was with Mount Gox, and I think that was 2014, 2015. And then I got back in it in 2016. I got paid for a website. I created a website for this drink company, and they offered to pay me half in Bitcoin and half in cash. And I took it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm good with Bitcoin. Like, and at the time, Bitcoin was like at $675.
Damn.
So I had like I think I got like 10 to 12 Bitcoin during that payment.
Dude, you're talking at the current rate.
Bro.
With
okay,
200 Bitcoin, that's $7,800,000.
Yeah,
7.8 million. How much did you?
How much
buy?
drugs would I could buy now?
No, but how much did you buy the drugs for? Or how much?
At the time, the exchange was like a little bit over $1, so it almost felt like you were paying for the way I perceived it is like, oh, like when I buy Bitcoin, I lose like 20 cents to $1. But it was actually getting. I didn't understand blockchain back then. I was just trying to like, okay, I need a Bitcoin to buy this. Buy the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Buy this.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about let me stack some sats. I wasn't thinking let me stack some Bitcoin. I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah.
But it was my first experience with the blockchain.
How much Bitcoin was the drugs?
Yeah, like it was equivalent to what I was buying. So like $1. It was so let's say about $200 worth of drugs. I would have to spend like 240.
240 in Bitcoin. Oh shit, dude, that's nuts. 240
most
Bitcoin.
Expensive drug transaction.
240 Bitcoin.
But I mean, everybody was like, "That's
everybody."
It's like if you say right now, like, "Oh,
didn't a guy pay for a pizza in Bitcoin?"
Yeah,
and
it was worth like what 14 million. It was like if he had gone it,
like that.
What's the highest it's been? 46,000, right?
60 something.
64, something
64.
Like, a year and a half ago, it was like 64.
70. Well, yeah.
It was 60, 70, somewhere there.
I don't really keep up to.
Let's
too
say
much
64. Just 64. 240 Bitcoin at 64,000 would have been $15,000. I mean, $15 million.
I was like 15,000. That's
15 million. 15.3.
But think about it like this: if you buy a Bitcoin right now, let's say you have a Bitcoin on you right now, and you go buy a used car or like maybe you can afford a brand new car, right?
Yeah, you can afford like a decently priced like sedan.
Yeah, in 10 years, you're gonna look back to the day like, damn, bro, I paid $1 million for that car.
Yeah,
because Bitcoin's eventually gonna hit $1 million.
You think so?
Oh, I could put all my money on it.
How? All right. So
Not financial advice.
So I'll keep holding. Is financial advice illegal? It is, right?
It is illegal. Super illegal.
You have to be
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, don't listen to anything.
Don't not listen to
that we're
this
saying.
guy. This is
I'm drinking right now.
He's somehow already drunk off of one beer.
No, I'm not. I'm not drunk off of one
slurring
beer. Well,
him.
actually, don't fucking say it. He knows exactly.
We should come out with bit beer.
Josh does this thing. Josh does this thing where he knows how to like zero in on the shit that I'm insecure about, and one of them is my fucking slurs. Supposedly, sometimes when
he has a bunch of racial slurs.
No. My slurring, my slurring. Every time we're doing like a live podcast, we'll end up like talking, and he'll say like, "Damn, bro, are you drunk already? You're slurring." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm talking fine. Like,
I'm fine."
But yeah, dude. So that's crazy. I do feel like I don't know. I feel like the general consensus with crypto and NFTs right now is kind of like really negative. What do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's just like another like misunderstood technology?
Well, it's like anything that's that you should be paying attention to. The government and its allies are gonna do whatever it takes to make you look the other way. And once you understand how powerful blockchain technology and how it's gonna change in the future, there's it even makes more sense why there's such a negative connotation. Really what's going on right now, this is my theory, obviously, it's my hypothesis on this. The government hasn't really figured out how to regulate, other than the taxing. Now they tax you 30% for every profit you do at the moment of the exchange. But other than that, there's no way they can regulate it like to where they can fully control all the, like they can't fully control it at this point. So until they figure that out, which I think is going to happen within the next 12 months, that's when you'll really see the spike in Bitcoin. Yeah, once they say, okay, these are the rules that we're going to follow, everybody that has money, they're going to be like, all right, now it's time to go all in on Bitcoin, and then you'll see it spike
skyrocket,
up.
Yeah.
What do you think? So like you yourself, right? Let's say it doesn't go that route. Let's say it doesn't have, because I know like a big part of like the mining process specifically about Bitcoin is supposed to be like very
Lies.
It's lies?
Yeah. It's like the same way they tell you about like global, what's it called? Like all these conspiracy theories that make you like not do something.
Are you about to say global warming is a conspiracy theory?
I don't want to say global warming, but But yeah, I do. I'll use it as an example.
There's like, let me dissect that for a second.
You know what I mean, right, Josh?
Yes, but
it's hard for me to explain it.
Like the global warming in specific, like all right, yes, it's a pressing matter. I'm not gonna say it isn't, but first of all, we don't even live on a globe.
All right, dude.
So
all right, shut the fuck up.
Oh no, I'm playing. What I was gonna say was like there's layers to it where like, you know,
there's always an agenda of why there's a researcher.
For example, we're not like the most polluting country in the world, but yet we're the only ones that like really like chastise our fucking economy and shit because
what are you talking about that we're not the most polluting country in the world?
We're not.
Who is?
China.
China is.
Okay, I can maybe
at least that's what they tell us.
Maybe by population density, sure, but I mean,
in total, dude.
I hear
like
we're a lot more wasteful in terms of like everything from food to the way that we plan cities out to be more reliant on like, you know, combustibles, right? Like gas. I think we're more.
Well, let me just get back to the point.
Yeah,
we're gonna
go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. So I guess what I was trying to say is that there's always going to be this overlying propaganda to keep people from, especially people that are in the bottom class, to invest any of their money because they haven't figured out really the regulations. So once they figure out the regulations, and if you look at just how much Bitcoin is leaving off the exchanges, you'll freak out, man, because the rich people are taking the Bitcoin, put it on cold storage wallets where it's no longer going to be even available to purchase. Think about how scarce it's going to be even in the next 12 to 24 months. So this
episode is also brought to you by Porvida Tattoos, open all the way back in 2014. If you want to get your first ink, or if you already have a bunch of tattoos and you want to get more tattoos, that's the place to fucking go. Go to porvidacs.com to book your appointment now. Let them know we sent you. Supporting our sponsors helps keep us alive and helps expand our production and bring you better shit. So again, go to porvidacs.com. Tell them we sent you. Book your appointment now. And also follow them on Instagram at Porvida Tattoos. That's at Porvida Tattoos on Instagram. Go show some love.
Hey, also show some love to our other sponsor, Consafos Print Co. They have hand printed T-shirts, amazing quality. They have stickers, they have pins, they have keychains. Make sure you check out their store at consafosprintco.com and follow them at CS Print Co as well. I personally own some of their own shirts.
I'm wearing one of them right now.
Oh yeah, they have excellent print quality. They're super comfortable, and they last long as shit. Actually,
they really do.
One of my first shirts from Consafos I still wear to this day, and I got that maybe like 3 or 4 years.
I just
ago,
got my hands on the Boys Don't Cry and No Pasa Nada one.
My favorite one is the Boys Don't Cry one. Make sure you check it out. Go and check it out again on consafosprintco.com or follow them on IG at CS Print Co.
Do you love anime?
Do you like shoes?
Because if you do, make sure you go and check out Gaiocho Hype and Hobbies. They have a website, gaiochohype.com. They got shoes. They got anime collectibles, trading card game things. I'm talking Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Funko Pops. They've got some fucking dope-ass Naruto ones that I'm trying to buy. They have everything, dude. They've got amazing sneakers. I know you were trying to get your hands on some
Yeah,
dunks,
I've been
right?
trying to get some dunks, and then this place is the place to go get them. You can go and check them out on 1003 Garfield Street here at Laredo, Texas. They're open Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturdays they're open from 5 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Make sure you check out their website, gaiochohype.com, and use your discount code AOTB,
and you get 10% off anything in the entire store online. Again, from shoes to anime collectibles to trading cards. They also host Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments every Saturday.
Yeah, maybe we'll end up commentating on some of those because
Yeah.
I'm super down for Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments or Smash tournaments, that kind of stuff. So make sure you go and check that out. You can follow their Facebook page at facebook.com/Calle8. That's Calle8, the number 8 apparel. Or you can follow their Instagram at Calle8, spelled out CALLEOCHO hype. HYPE, right? Or
Gaiocho Hype and Hobbies,
yeah,
the best shop in town.
Alarming to a certain extent where I no longer believe any propaganda that's against Bitcoin or Ethereum. Like, you can always compare to, like, they say, oh, it's too much energy. Like they're using more energy to the size of like a country or whatever. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even keep up with them anymore. But there's a reason why they're using this propaganda to take you away from investing into these cryptocurrencies. That's my theory, and we'll look back to this.
Okay, I mean, okay, maybe I'm not versed enough on that to give like an opinion to like counter that either way. I'm just saying, like, out of what I've heard, and just out of like the pure speculation. Oh, dude, just Elon Musk on Twitter. Out of the pure speculation that I've gotten from seeing everything on there, I've read about like the energy cost, how it's not energy efficient, it's not cost effective, and them it's caused things from everything from like a chip shortage to like them busting illegal crypto mining farms and that kind of stuff.
Oh, you think about it, like the first airplane like couldn't even fly. Think about that. This is the first version of the blockchain is not the future version of the blockchain.
It's just that, dude. I feel like maybe it's just my own personal thing. I'm not trying to shit on it at all. It's just, again, I'm writing from the perspective of somebody who's like read enough about it personally. I feel I've read enough about it to feel like maybe I can develop an opinion on it, but maybe I'm also just not.
No, and you can. I mean, I think none of us are experts.
I just feel like it's just
like a fad, a phase.
No, I think it's a digital multi-level marketing scheme. That's what I think. I think just the fact to like just the fact that like you have to take convincing to like people to buy in and then have stakes on it. I think it's just another way to accumulate debt and have people lose money by rug pulling consecutively, because the market runs on full speculation, and that's it. And I just think. A JPEG scheme. I just feel like it's
the JPEG scheme,
just running based off of pure like speculation. Because you've seen it, right? Like the market gets manipulated like that. Elon Musk's post a fucking picture of Doge, and the market goes up by like whatever fucking 10 cents or whatever the fuck it's gone. He immediately rug pulls everybody from there. right? Because what did he do last year where he was saying everyone like, oh, hey, Tesla's going to accept Dogecoin for
merch, right?
Yeah, for paying. Like you can buy stuff with Dogecoin. And it even went so far as him saying, what was it, like Ecuador was going to start accepting cryptocurrencies, including altcoin.
Yeah.
And then he nearly crashed all of Ecuador's market, which is already doing bad, honestly. We all know that, right? But he nearly crashed their market because he was just like, just kidding, never mind. Dogecoin is trash. And then he, after doing that, the fucking market dipped so hard. So many people lost a shit ton of money. And I've read like over and over like the crashes that have happened when people, I think that when it hit its highest point at whatever it was, like 70 something, people were getting fucking like they were doubling down, getting second mortgages and shit, right? Then
you don't do that. That's and any this is not investment advice, but I mean,
you don't spend the money you don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have money you're not comfortable spending around. I mean, but I that's why to me I feel like I've read enough. Maybe it's propaganda. Maybe it's just the more highlighted stuff itself for like mainstream because they want to keep you like blind to it, which is a solid point. That's a fair point. They're not going to give you financial advice that's going to benefit you. If they're planning on if it's unregulated and they're not making their buck off of it first.
Even in the stock market, it was regulated as fuck. And what happened with that guy that was on Mad Money?
You know what? So I will give you this. The thing that actually started, that thing that led me into start looking into stocks and
stonks
and to cryptocurrency was the shorting that was revealed last year with GameStop. Y'all remember that, right?
Yeah,
we did talk a minute about
what was that called?
It was shorting.
But there was GameStop gate. No, it was something gate.
Something like a short, something like an ultra short. Something like it's like where it just explodes because there's not enough shares to resell.
I think it was buyback. I think it was the difference, right? Yeah, there was enough. I think it was. It's called shorting. Shorting. It's like shorting a loan, right?
Yeah.
What they were doing was they were taking a failing company, offloading a shit ton of money off of it. So what they could do is once that went bankrupt, they would just make a shit ton of money based off of whatever shorted things. It was basically like a stake that they would have and allow to whittle, so they wouldn't have to pay anything out to anyone.
Yeah, that can happen in cryptocurrency because of the ledger.
Oh,
it's a public ledger. So there's a max.
We just talked about rug pulling, no?
Well, you can rug pull, like if you have a cryptocurrency that you can come up with a cryptocurrency right now in the next hour and release it.
Rajcoin.
And you can tell the world what we're going to do, and you can tell the world, you can Photoshop yourself next to Elon Musk and say, Elon approves, and people buy into it. And then tomorrow,
I'll meet him in Brownsville.
Yeah, tomorrow Raj doesn't show up to the podcast.
And I just
live with my money, and I live in Hawaii.
So that's why you do your research.
Hey guys, just so you know, I would 100% short and rug pull you guys, no problem. I would sell out and become like a crime lord in some third world country and enact my rule on everyone and just fucking live in peace, dude. Honestly, that would be my whole thing. I would run so fast.
One of the things that I think you're not understanding about like why I think it's a revolutionary tech is that it is a technology in and of itself. It's not just like full of hot air.
I get decentralization. You want to talk about that? Let's talk about the
DeFi aspect of
we've been talking about it.
Well, I mean, just
the same thing. It's just
the term itself, like decentralized, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about what, away from governments and banks, or
not necessarily from those specific entities, but just from an entity being in control of the supply. Correct. Like, for example, our money is centralized by the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Internet centralized by Spectrum, whatever the fuck. Kind of.
That's why they kicked
ISP
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, decentralization is just moving away from where, it's not owned.
So how do I go to Web3, dude?
How do you go to Web3?
I just participate in like buying these things? Is that what it is?
You can...
Because to me, when I heard Web3, I thought destination. Yeah, I thought like
it's more about an experience.
www.web3.com.
It's more about an experience, how you experience things that you own, places that you like to visit. It could be as simple as communities you like to support. You like beer, like there's going to be a community for
Y'all keep calling me out on drinking. You were the ones that encouraged me to get this beer.
What do you mean? That's not true.
I'm joking.
But I think the first step is to just, like, you've already taken the first step. You're supporting an idea of a cryptocurrency. You bought into, what'd you say, Dogecoin? Dogecoin
Right
at the beginning.
I won't
Dogecoin.
say what I'm holding right now, but I did buy into Doge and Shiba Inu.
Yeah, so that's used. Doge and Shiba, they're based off the same technology that Bitcoin is based off, except with a supply of 1,000x of what makes Bitcoin so valuable is there's only 18 million Bitcoin available. Originally it was 21, 3 million got lost somewhere.
Damn.
There's only 18 million that will ever be minted. At a certain point, there's not going to be any Bitcoin available on any market. You know,
so that would essentially mean that it may be the most valuable cryptocurrency that's out there.
Correct.
When the market, or rather when that tech starts becoming more like commonplace.
From what I read, it's the parent one, right? That's it. Bitcoin was like the parent cryptocurrency, and then there's BTC Bitcoin, and then there was
Bitcoin Cash,
and I know they splintered just based off of the whole idea of like decentralization and having, it was the first altcoin. The first altcoin was spawned from Bitcoin. And I think the most popular altcoin was Ether, right?
Yes.
And they've projected it multiple times to supposedly surpass Bitcoin, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think just in general right now, a big like part of the popularity behind Ether, which is like ETH, right? Is that it's used primarily for minting NFTs right now.
Yeah,
primarily what I've seen. I
like to think of it like Ethereum will be sort of like cash, right? You go and buy things. You buy a car. You buy a house, and Bitcoin would be more like gold. It's a store of value, where you instead of you having $1 million in your bank account, you have a few Bitcoin that'll hold its value over the course of time. That's not inflationary; it's actually deflationary, and the wealthy people will store their value in Bitcoin versus fiat. You know what I mean? With Ethereum, I think you're going to be using it more to do your daily transactions. You buy a new pair of Jordans. You pay somebody, you put somebody on payroll. It's no longer fiat. You're paying them in Ethereum. It could be more of that. And there's
fiat, to explain, meaning like money that isn't backed by anything, which is what the dollar is.
Yeah. So
just trust, based on trust.
Now there's a US dollar coin, right?
Correct. That holds its value to $1. So it's always going to be pegged to the US dollar, meaning that if you have a USDC, you have 100 coins, you have $100 worth of currency.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always going to stay at 100.
I know a little bit,
Right, but that fiat currency is fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, that's a real scam.
Yeah, that's so volatile.
You know, like when our
money on its way out.
So like our parents, 100%. When they were our age or a little bit younger, maybe, you would be able to pay off a mortgage in like 2 years, 2 to 3 years, and then they came up with this idea to extend mortgage loans to 30 years. When they started printing money that was no longer based on gold. Yes.
When they removed the gold standard. That was like in the mid-70s, I want to say.
Yeah, so it coincided, like they removed the gold standard, they started printing money, and they also removed they started this idea of 30-year mortgage loans. So you get on a payment system, you pay off your house in 30 years if you're able to most people lose their house, before they get to that 30-year mark. Or they have to sell it to be able to,
finish paying off the fucking whatever.
Just to not lose the house. And that's the real scam,
housing market.
Yeah, dude, and apparently they're getting ready for a crash, so that's crazy.
Been waiting for it, dude, so I can finally buy a house. We were talking. We did talk about this not a couple, but I think when we were doing the Pandy episodes was when we had started talking about the weird push that was going on at the time to start adopting digital currency. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yeah, like the whole concept of the Great Reset or whatever.
Yeah. So they had already started talking about that the reason people felt like they didn't want to get vaccinated was because they were going to get a chip, and then they started discussing how we were eventually going to have a chip that was going to handle all digital currency and the way things are mined. this is neither, and my mind just went here. It's the ADHD, but I have a story that's neither here nor there about this so much. It's just more about like the technology thing. I was at the court and I was buying. I was paying off a ticket at court, right? And when I was paying off a ticket at court, I was using my card that has the little tapping thing, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
right? It's NFC.
You can tap
use
to pay. Yeah.
Apple Pay. You know, I could do it with my watch. I can do. Well, I guess this guy didn't know, and it cracked me up so much because, I went up to the machine and it had the little thing on there where it's like it has the signal where you can tap it. And so I go and I was about to do it. I was about to like tap it, and the guy's like, I rubbed my card on it, right, because I was ready for it to like beep or whatever, and it beeped. But like I guess the guy didn't know what I was doing because he'd never seen anybody tap
like that,
pay with a tap card like that. And he goes, "Sir, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm paying. What do you mean?" And then he's like, "What did you just do?" And then the receipt comes out. He was like,
he fucking shit himself. Oh my god!
Like, it's so which I was
that's fucking horrible.
And I was like, yeah, they have these little things. They're NFC chips, whatever they're called. I forget the name for it, whatever. But they're NFC. It's called NFC, and it's the same technology that you use for like when they would tap phones together, so you could share information. Or like when you pay with like Samsung Pay or Apple Pay or whatever,
it's on there.
And so it's on there. It's and I was like, it's the same thing. That's what they have the little chips on certain cards for. And he goes, "What?" And he was like, fucking amazed.
Wait till you tell him about Bitcoin.
For real, dude. There's this thing.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I gotta quit my job.
So you've been in the space as Web3's been developing. And I know that you're working on some interesting projects that are related to all of these things. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. I've actually haven't spoken about it publicly, so I would love to share about it here for the first time.
I want to preface this by also just for a little I was not trying to shit on whatever it is that you were saying in terms of Bitcoin or NFT or
not at
Web3.
all. I don't.
I was just like
kind
of getting that like layman stance from it too, because like I think a lot about like the future and like what the next major technology is going to be. I do think metaverse and digital real estate, digital property is going to be a big thing. But yeah, I think just in general, like my reluctancies like are kind of in there. I think a lot of people share that with me. So, but yeah, thank you for answering that stuff.
Yeah, man. No, it's always I love talking about this, and you know, I've been very like, I guess this is like PG-13 to like what a discussion would be like. It could get very heated. I've never taken it personal because at the end of the day, like when I tell people, okay, I went from being broke to being rich through using cryptocurrencies, right? That's real to me.
Yeah.
That might seem like a multi-level marketing scheme for somebody else, but if you know what you're doing and you understand the technology, then you understand where you're putting your money onto, then it's not so much of a gamble anymore. It's always going to be volatile because anything new, any new technology is always going to have that volatility. And, you know, for me, it's been, I guess I would say a blessing because as an artist, it's really hard to own what you create. And this ability to now be kind of like a voice for artists and to understand how they can use cryptocurrencies is one of the North Stars for me. I want to make sure that every single creator has the ability to understand this technology and how they can implement it. And it doesn't mean you have to make millions of dollars. It's saying, oh, I want to do a daily podcast, and that's what my mission is in life, and I want to be able to live a decent lifestyle. You know, whether it's making $50K a year, $100K a year, that's subjective, right? But if you can do it by being able to own what you create, I think it's a blessing. It's a big blessing. So, yeah.
There's someone here. Did someone come in?
I heard somebody. Did you guys hear the door? I heard the door, yeah.
I heard something, but I saw someone.
Yeah, I heard something, then I saw something. So
Pokemon.
in that vein, in like disseminating this type of information to empower creators, that's ultimately what led you to come into the project that you're working on now.
Correct. And now, before I get into the project, I would say I've been behind the scenes, with this Web3 space, I'll say for the last 6 years. This is my 6th year, like really studying it, being involved in different projects. And I always saw it as like this like hobby. It was never like my full time.
I thought I saw someone here like behind the shelves.
I just heard the door again, by the way.
No, that's a motion
thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Huh? Cool.
Thanks for bringing the fucking ghost, dude.
I'm not joking. So I was looking behind Josh. He looked at me like I was acting weird, but I was just trying to see if somebody was there. I couldn't. I saw somebody walk in the frame, like back here where the Pokemon stuff is at, and then I saw them go back. So I figured somebody was back there.
Well, we covered one of the doors, and the other door is closed.
Fun.
Oh.
All right.
Episode 200.
For real, bro. The fucking apparition manifests itself.
Stay here.
In fact, I would challenge you guys to start uploading all the episodes on the blockchain.
I'm down to do that.
Down.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to do NFT moments of the podcast, and I think one of the first ones we should do is the I'm the Joker baby.
Okay.
I'm the Joker baby.
I don't know if we have that on.
What?
I don't know if we have that on video.
We do.
We do?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we'll do it.
We have to because it was on. Oh shit! That's right. I forgot. Oh, that makes me sad.
Do it again. Reenact it.
That sucks. That's actually we'll have it on audio.
Yeah, you can upload an audio file.
Okay. Yeah, audio file. I know Pay Money Wubby, which is one of my favorite streamers, uploaded an NFT of his shitty bathroom. Like it was disgusting, and it went for like 100,000. Insane. But cool. Yeah, continue. Tell us more about the.
Okay, so yeah, I've been on this space for quite a while.
Why you flipping me off like that? Okay, sorry. Don't get mad at me though. I'm not just telling you the truth. I tell you. I don't. Sorry to interrupt. The other day I was in bed with CO, right, and we were laying down, and I was like, hey, like I woke up like kind of in the middle of the night, and she was like, she's like, what's up? You can't sleep? I was like, you want me to tell you something scary right now? And she's like, yeah, tell me. Because sometimes she gets excited, like, to get scared. And I was like, I just felt something bump the bed. And she goes, fuck you. I was like, I'm not even kidding. I woke up because I felt like somebody, like, shifted the bed, like, pushed it. So I was like, I woke up and I looked around to see maybe it was my dog who tried to jump up or something. My dog wasn't even in the room. So... And we had the door closed.
We have to put a pin in that and circle back.
Yeah. Sorry. Go. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do I start? Okay. So one of the things that's happening, which you kind of already brushed on it, is this idea of like rug pulls or like mysterious usernames with a mysterious profile picture launching this big project. Goes out. The project goes out to the community. Or to the people that are investing in it, and then all of a sudden that mysterious person username never reveals who they are. They're undoxed, and nowhere to be found after that. There's a lot of cases like that. Now, there's also a lot of cases where there's a mysterious founder or a founding team. Except, for example, Bored Ape Yacht Club. When they launched Bored Ape Yacht Club, nobody knew who the founding team was. They were all undoxed. Undoxed is literally like hiding your identity, your true identity, who you are. So there is a username. We all like, for me, my username online is digitialjeff, and you'll be able to find a picture of me attached to it, right? So you know who I am. You can probably find my LinkedIn through that information. But a lot of the project founders in Web3 are undoxed, and it started with Satoshi Nakamoto, which is the founder of Bitcoin, and we never really found out who Satoshi Nakamoto actually was. He never doxed himself. He never actually revealed who he truly was.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's a mystery. And
time travel there.
Yeah. So I started getting very interested in the stories behind Web3, as a storyteller, for me, the most interesting part of it was the founders and specifically the undoxed founders and who they truly are and why they're being so mysterious about it. And because there's some projects that, you know, like I can tell you, Bored Ape, undoxed founders becomes a $1 billion company in 9 months. And there's some undoxed founders launch a company and the day after they launch, they make millions of dollars and then they just disappear. So there's two sides to it, right? For me, as a storyteller, I'm approaching undoxed founders and allowing them to dox themselves on camera for the first time and really reveal their true identity. So that's the concept of the new show I've been filming. I'm on episode. I've filmed the first 3 episodes, filming episode 4 next week. And it got syndicated by Metaverse, which is the largest publication for in the Web3 space. We got some really cool partnerships, and which I can't talk about it yet because it's not like set in stone, whatever. Like, but yeah. So, but these stories for me are they're very historical because I wish I had a camera filming the first Bitcoin team, the people that developed Bitcoin for the Satoshi Nakamoto team. Yeah. I wish I had a camera on them during that time. And this for me is an opportunity to do that for other founders. And a lot of founders are ready to undox themselves and reveal their true identity. And I'm creating a platform for that, specifically for that, which is this show. The name of the show is called Doxxed.
Nice, dude. That sounds really cool. Especially like to get like I'm all about like seeing the behind the scenes about a lot of the stuff so to hear that, like the people involved. I would have never guessed that you were involved in something like that, honestly. Like when I heard Digital Jeff and I started talking to Josh about you, I think a little like what was it, like 3 years ago when we first started podcasting, 4 years ago when we first started podcasting, he told me a lot about the stuff that you were involved in, and I figured a lot of it was more about like just production. But like hearing also that you're like involved in, you know, like a documentation side of things and searching in a way like getting the truth behind a lot of like these mysterious technologies or not mysterious, but these newer technologies, trailblazing in a way as well. It's interesting to get that like point of view too, and so I mean that's cool. And it just in a more comical sense, if I were to imagine somebody talking to me about crypto, the first thing I would imagine was like a real big nerd. Honestly, the first thing that I would have somebody like me. I would have imagined somebody like me being like you know Satoshi, and but just to know that like people like everyday people, cool people, and just like folks that just decide they want to start making their money and investing into like these newer technologies that are coming out. That's really cool. The fact that it's just open for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a nerd, bro. I was always a nerd. Was top of my class. Never got perfect scores in all my test exams.
You're a really cool nerd, man. I know it's like there's like street. I mean, there's like book smart nerds, and then there's like street smart nerds.
I think I was a book smart nerd that grew up in the streets.
So you're kind of an ambi nerd.
In the streets of Laredo.
Hey, that's
streets
a good.
Laredo.
I'm coining that term, ambi nerd. It's like ambivert, but not.
Yeah, but yeah, and I don't know. So, do you guys have any questions about the show? Like,
sorry.
Yeah, of course. So, can we talk a little bit about the first couple of episodes that you shot? Like, what are the people that you were going, or rather, people you were doxing, right?
So yeah, so I can't really. We're not revealing like who we're doxing yet until we release the episode. But it's been some of these are actually the first 3 episodes. They've already launched projects, so they've already made millions and millions of dollars, and they just haven't revealed who they are.
Okay, got it.
So I found it very interesting that people invest money into a non-docs project or founder.
Since we can't necessarily get into them, let's go back and talk about how you've mentioned that you've been. This is funny because you mentioned that you've been behind the scenes with Web3, and I feel like for those of the audience that are not familiar with like a lot of your work, you've been behind the scenes on not even just Web3, but like in a sense like on a lot of different shit with the line of work that you do.
Yeah.
How does it feel now to be in front of the camera?
Oh, I love it, man. I actually feel like I have a superpower. The fact that I've been 20 years behind the camera, and now being in front of the camera, it's like I have an edge because I understand the art of storytelling behind and in front now. And me as I consider myself like an investigator or a historian to a certain extent. Like I'm poking these questions to these people, and it's questions that have never been asked to anybody, you know. And the idea of being doxxed is not just simply like revealing like the real person, where they live and their face. It's more like who really, what is their
That'd be
true
a very
identity?
short documentary. Hey,
Yeah,
it's him.
yeah, it's him. He lives here.
All right, bye.
No, I really get into like what inspired them, what, you know, how they grew up, you know, is it one person like with this facade of like making the world believe that they have a full team behind them, or is it really a full team? Is it like 10 people on their team? Is it 20 people on their team? Like, how deep does this go? How big is this army that they've been able to make, you know, 10, 20, 30 million in a few weeks? How do they go about doing that?
What do you think the impact on, I guess, their company or their project would be by being involved by like doxing themselves? What impact would that have on their project? Do you think that it would just kind of like give more trust in the people that are involving, you know, because you mentioned like the rug pull, like that kind of stuff? Is that what you're aiming for, or do you just want to have like documentation, like you mentioned, for the sake of like, you know, history?
On a selfish way, I'll say I want to just document this historical moment. In the very selfish, if I had to just think about myself, right, I would say I really don't even care about the story of the founder. I care about me documenting the story of the founder. But in the other side of me, which is the true essence of this the spirit, and you said trailblazers earlier, but we are witnessing all these trailblazers or these pioneers risk everything, put everything on the line to do something that's never been done before. And by then doxing themselves, my hope is that when they dox themselves, there's a sense of comfort to the investors, the people behind the project, the people invested into this project, where they now add value to the project because they've been doxed. And two, it sets a tone in the culture of launching a new project, where projects that are doxed with doxed founders just do better. They are able to take off faster. There's more people behind them. There's a big community behind them, versus projects that are undoxed that has a high risk of being a rug pull, or they call it a slow rug, where they just slowly start doing less and less, and then they disappear all of a sudden into one of those countries.
Countries.
So I hope that it creates that into the culture. That would be kind of selfish too, but I believe it needs to be done, man. I do genuinely believe like these types of this type of content needs to be showcased to make it a standard. When you do launch a company, there has to be some type of like
representation.
Yeah, representation, man. Like, think about it like this: would you invest in Tesla if you didn't know Elon was behind it?
Probably not, because I don't have money.
Well, I mean, day one Tesla when stock was like at $20 or whatever. Like,
yeah. Because then you would have been.
I mean, like I
PayPal.
Yeah, probably not. Like I never really thought about Elon Musk. I used to really idolize him a lot, and I feel like as of late, like even though people really like laud him as like this amazing like innovator and trailblazer, I kind of feel like Elon is just a really dangerous capitalist. in my opinion, right? But that's a whole other episode. But to answer your question, no, probably not. I probably wouldn't know.
Yeah. So I think that's what's gonna happen with it's not only like I can't obviously like in a year or two I won't be able to take any of that credit, but I want to be part of that mission where we're doxing, we're setting this tone like you're gonna invest in the project with Doxxed founders. You'd rather like if there's a million investors, 990,000 hopefully are investing in projects with Doxxed founders versus undoxed.
Yeah, it's cool too that like you're using it in a positive connotation, because I feel like whenever I hear doxed, I think it means like something negative, right? Like
that's exactly what we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. When you hear doxed,
doxed.
when you get doxed, it's they put all your information online.
Yeah.
That
like
person.
The Washington Post did that to the libs of TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like the Washington Post, the newspaper. Taylor Lorenz, one of the reporters there, she doxed this very popular satirical page that's called the Libs of TikTok. It's a Twitter page where they would just get like left-wing TikTokers and post their videos like in a context where it's like they're like, look at how absurd this is or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they doxed the creator, and it's a very, very popular like Twitter page, and they fucking doxed them. And then they were like, we didn't dox him. And then Tim Pool was like, yes, you did. Look, it's right here. And it's a whole thing. But yeah, so like that's one of the, when you got into town last weekend and we cooked out and shit, I was talking to you about that. I just like, it's cool that we're taking the word and flipping it into like a positive way, as opposed to like, now it's just related to that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like these people are open. Like this last episode we shot it for 4 days. I slept in this house, like in the house where they're building this project. Yeah. And there's like, I don't want, you
can't
give too much away,
but so
what kind of projects are you? I mean, you're mentioning a lot about the stuff. It's all. So are these creators all doing projects that are specifically for Web3?
Yes, correct.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a Web3 show. I think it also, one of my missions within the like the list of things that I want to accomplish, one of them is also educate a mainstream audience. So I'm using the first minute of the show to give a more like spoon feeding the story, making sure you understand, like
giving them that bait and
then allowing them to really, okay, I understand that. Now I know why I got to watch the rest of the episode. So cool. I think I also allow people to understand Web3 and feel that there's a space for them. There's something they could.
That's cool. Yeah. I was about to say, like, is it all? I mean, I feel like if you were designing it directly for Web3, it would be content specifically for people who are already kind of like bought into it. But that's cool that you're like leaving it open to people like me who maybe don't know all that much about crypto or NFT or Web3 or what all that means together, to kind of understand what these people are doing with their projects and their companies, and how it relates to their own personal experience. So that's dope, dude. I can't wait to see that. Where would we see something like that on?
So as of right now, it'll be launching. If you go to youtube.com, there's a channel called Metaverse. It'll be the first Metaverse original show.
Is that related at all to Meta, like the Facebook company?
Actually, it's not.
Okay,
it's not. But it's Metaverse with a 3 at the second E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
But they have the biggest, the largest community in the Web3 space. They have obviously like, very large distribution channels. So it'll release on there, but it'll also be auctioned. Every episode will be auctioned off as a 1-of-1. So you can buy a 1-of-1 NFT for the episode and have ownership of the actual episode.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I remember like one of the first artists also that was doing that was Beeple. Beeple was made a shit ton of money.
Yeah. He's still making a lot of money.
Off of NFT tokens for his art pieces that were being released as a collection.
Yeah.
And I think after he did that, a lot of artists, a lot of creators, digital creators, followed suit from there. Because that was the first instance of NFT that I heard of.
Wow.
Personally. So, yeah.
Yeah, he made a splash.
So.
Very recently, fairly recently, I remember you making a post on Instagram talking about how you wanted to really work on your own projects, and going back to the statement I made before with like you being behind the camera and everything, like what has that transition been like? Like, what was your journey to get from, again, like behind the camera to in front of the camera, and then not even just in front of the camera, but it's your
my
production.
idea,
Yeah, your idea.
So one of the common denominators that I had as a creator, and it's nothing bad, it's just, it is what it is like every person that ever approached me from the time they knew, like even since like before high school, before I graduated, anytime somebody approached me for a video or a photography or any type of digital web page, something, it was always like, how can I support them? And it's nothing bad. It's like they're trying to hire me to help their idea, right? And because, you know, when you grow up like without, you know, I don't want to say I grew up in poverty, because I didn't, but you know, we have a very minimal resources. You most likely you're going to say yes. As an artist, you're going to take each project that comes your way. You don't take it for granted. You got to pay bills. You got to, for me, I had 4 kids by the time I was 23 years old, man. You got to think about that. Like I was just trying to I didn't know that. I was just trying to feed my family, man. So every single person that approached me was for them. And I went through that cycle over and over and over and over and over. And as the projects got bigger, right, that didn't change. That was a common denominator. Everybody that asked me to work on their project, it was their project. So for the first time, you know, this year, I was like, I want to do my own project. And I put up the post that you're talking about. I actually got a lot of feedback, and I was surprised of who the people supporting me were, because the post that it was an Instagram story. And I was a little bit frustrated that day, because I was reflecting on my past 20 years of being a producer, artist, a creator. And I kind of felt used in a way, because people knew that I needed money. And some of the people that could have helped me out to get to that next level never actually did. And I don't have any resentment towards it, but I just learned from it. That moment, I had a realization, like, oh, moving forward, I'm only going to work on my ideas. And if that means that I have less to put on the table, that's what it's going to be. But I solely believe that I have been able to harness the experience, the abilities to work at the highest level. So there's no reason that there's no way I can fail if I just go for my own ideas. So I started formulating this show, and about 2 months after I posted that, it got officially syndicated. We're, you know, fully funded, and now we're traveling the world.
You're also not only just working on the documentary, but you've also started a podcast with Roland Sanchez, right?
Correct. So we have a podcast called House of Clay, and that is a way for us to connect to artists. We call it the playground for artists. And when I say the word artist, it's anybody that's a creator in any form or fashion. And we're trying to be the bridge of how they can play in the Web3 space. So we partnered up with Web3 developers, like smart contract developers, and an array of I won't say the word ambassadors, but an array of people connected in the Web3 space that can help through the process. So no matter what you're doing, you can come through House of Clay, and we can figure out where you can start. Like, what's your starting point, you know? And with House of Clay, we're taking that initiative to also help creators launch their own NFT collections. You know, one of the first ones that we're launching is with Greg Yuna. Greg Yuna is a jeweler that came out in the movie Uncut Gems.
Okay. The
bald guy.
Right.
Uncut Gems. So he's famous for being the jeweler for most celebrities. And he's like, how do I fit into the Web3 space? So we're creating a whole collection for him. We're launching an NFT project that'll help him do more of what he's already doing, expand what he's doing. So, and then we got Guru Cats, right, which is
one of the sponsors of this podcast.
One of the sponsors of this podcast.
Shout out Guru Cats.
And yeah, we're slowly using what we're learning in the Web3 space and just sharing that information, man. Sharing that information, making the connections, and, you know, slowly we're going to, you know, we'll probably have like by, I'll say 12 months from today, we'll have about 20, 30 projects that are fully being run by their teams, where we kind of facilitated the process from point 0 to point 1, and then they can go from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
And like, so with taking this new approach this year, and I think 2022 has been like very transformative for a lot of people, at least around me, for any reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, that made me lose my fucking train of thought. What was I gonna ask? Oh yeah. So what was the I understand like the external struggle to where like you felt, you know, maybe using your talents to help push other people's projects along and whatnot, but like what was the internal struggle like with trying to accept like, oh, I'm gonna just do what I want to do, if there was any?
No, there was, man. I think it's a lack of like we always say like, oh, I believe in myself, I believe I can do it, but there's always this little doubt, and that doubt you got to figure out where it's coming from. And for me, I was going through this long walk, and I was just pissed off, man. I was just really mad that like I just didn't have this realization earlier. Like I looked at my lexicon, I'm like, dude, I can do X, Y, Z, all the way to A. Why am I still having these conversations? Like, people are still hitting me up to today, like, to help them on their project. And I'm like, sorry, man, that Jeff is no longer exist, you know? So I had to really say, what's that word? Is it discernment? Like really filling in the shoes that I say I'm gonna, like I'm saying I'm gonna do something, and like actually feeling it is different. And I started feeling it finally. I started really like, oh, dude, I am a fucking beast. Like, people, I am gonna be able to do this at all. No matter, there's no way I can fail. And if I fail, I'm still gonna do fucking amazing things. So I think that the hardest part for me was like understanding that and really feeling that. And it took many years to get to that point.
What are some of the things that, like, if you go through your daily routine, what are some of like the self-affirmation things that you do, if you do any?
I think for me, like what has been recently, I have this term called playground. And there's this feeling that you have when you're a kid and you're in the playground, where sometimes you're a little bit you're excited because you're out in the playground, but sometimes you're a little bit shy because there's somebody new at the playground you want to meet. So you have to gather the courage to go say hi to them or start playing with them. Or the monkey bars, you try to do the monkey bars, right? And then you're a little bit afraid that you're gonna fall off, but you still go for it. There's this like feeling that you're in the playground. And for me, I check myself daily and saying, do I have that feeling? And if it's a no, then there's something that I started doing recently that's off. And it could be maybe having a conversation about a project that I shouldn't be talking about. And as long as I feel that, then I can then fully express myself and fully just be myself at all cost, without giving a fuck what anybody thinks, and still be happy and still feel confident in the day and still feel like I had an amazing day. So yeah, that's been my motto for the year, playground. And I actually want to get a tattoo of it right here.
Playground.
Say fuck you, everybody.
Make sure you go to the right person.
That really like resonated with me like a lot. So see, kind of the reason why yesterday I quit my fucking job.
Not financial advice.
It's not financial advice at all.
Not good advice for anybody who's not in a position to do so. But I've been struggling a lot recently, and you know what? I like Jeff. Whenever I'm listening to, whether it's the podcast or whether like the talks that always resonate with me whenever you're talking about something specifically is like, it's not so much the financial stuff or like anything to the upbringing or anything like that, but when you talk a lot about like creators and artists and like their, I guess their process and their journey through it, I always feel like, dude, I want to get there, but I'm like in a rut. And I was telling myself, I'm in a rut. Like I've been feeling that for like the last like 3-ish months, more or less. Like I'm telling myself, what is it? What is it that has me there? And for the most part, like for the longest time, I was telling myself, it's my financial position. It's my obligations and my duties, my responsibility to like my girlfriend and you know the family that we're making and like the like my friends and the stuff that I have to do here. And then I had a really fucking good set this last weekend in Austin. And on the way home, all I could think was, oh, man, like I'm not in a rut because I'm killing it. Like I had a whole lot of like I had a lot of comedians that I personally look up to. Even though we butt heads, that's Aaron Suarez included, right? We're gonna be out there at his special tomorrow. Shout out Aaron. And a bunch of other like area comics from like Houston and Austin that were there. And all of them were coming up to me and they were telling me even like, damn dude, like you've gotten very good. Like when are you going to start like making a push to like doing this full time or doing bigger stuff? And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I want to. It's a little unsafe, that kind of stuff. Well, I woke up yesterday and I woke up yesterday and I went to work. And while I was at work, I kind of caught some shit from, I won't say, I don't want to say the whole story, but I will say this. I feel like I was like very, for no reason, it was so undeserved, but I was getting punished, and getting a lot of like the jobs that I just didn't serve me. I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I was hired as a science lab manager at a school that didn't have a science lab. So they gave me all of the other jobs, dude. Like they gave me everything. Bro. I was watching the shitty ISS kids. I was tutoring kids on math, my worst subject, in Spanish, my worst language, bro. Nice. And like I was, you know, and so I went, whatever. I'll cut this short, but I went. I got some. I caught some shit for it for not wanting to do that because I was like, it's not in my realm of things that I want to do. Bro. Yeah, it's not on my playground, right? And I was like, that's not my thing. I'm a fat kid. I don't go on the monkey bars, you know. And like, so I went after I caught some shit from one of the admin. I went and I spoke to the principal, and I was like, hey. You guys are making me do a lot of other stuff that's not within my job description, and I feel like I can't carry out my duties as of like my contract says. And even though we're very close to summer, and I could have just dealt with it this whole month, coasted. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna coast. I just said, you know what, I'm resigning effective immediately, and I did. I resigned. And I'm still going to look for a part-time job maybe, but I want to make this full-time, and I want to make my comedy full-time because I feel like I can do it. And so that's why every time you have like conversations like that, when you talk about like resonating, I feel the same way. Like I feel like for the longest time, you know, us as creators, we've been in this realm where we're like very focused on like putting other people on platforms and helping them through things. I've always been very focused on doing that with the comedy and giving people a good room and adequate time and a good crowd to perform and work on their stuff in. And now I'm just like, I'll still do it, but I'm going to go do my shit now too, you know?
Let's go.
So
let's go,
so
bro.
that's what I'm like.
That's exactly what I told him when he told
me.
I quit my job. I was like, let's go. That's exactly what I fucking told him.
Dude, my therapist, bro. I spoke to my therapist yesterday. And I was just like, hey, I was telling him like he was like, well, how's your day been? You look very happy, like you're very energetic. Even my girlfriend told me like your mood changed like that, right? She was like, I was like, I don't know, I'm feeling good. He goes, yeah, what happened? What is everything been going all right? I was like, I quit my fucking job today.
Like, oh shit, are you still gonna be able to pay for this?
I
or how
told
are you-
no, actually, thankfully it's a community resources, man. They're all out there for you if anybody's looking for some sort of help. Mental health.
BetterHelp.com.
You can, no,
/ aliens on the border.
no, what the fuck? We're not sponsored by them. Don't
Yet.
follow that. But if you're looking to do that, you can go to the Community Resource Center in TAMIU, Community Counseling Center in TAMIU, and you have to join a wait list. But maybe by next semester you'll probably be in. But take a look at that if anyone's interested. But yeah, man. So I talked to my therapist. I told him I was like, hey, I quit my fucking job, and he was like, let's go. Nah, I'm just kidding. he was like, that's great. He told me, he was like, I never really like mentioned a whole lot about your job specifically because there were other like sections of your like mental health and your treatment plan that we were going to tackle and address. But your job seemed to bring you a shit ton of stress. And so I already broke it down yesterday in front of my girlfriend. I told her, I was like, look, over the last 3 months, I told her, I don't want to worry you because like, could you imagine like being reliant on somebody to like, she's not reliant on me at all, but if we're in like, pain, we're helping each other with the rent, with, groceries and bills and whatever. Could you imagine me all of a sudden saying like, hey, I quit my job? Just being like, wait, what the fuck? Or
happy as fuck and shit.
But she kind of like knew. She knew I was unhappy there, and she knew that she actually had told me like 2 nights prior, because I had already been cooking up the next scheme in my head of how I was going to get out of work for a week or something. So she was like, why don't you just fucking quit? And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, why don't you just resign?
I can do that?
And I was like, well, it's because they're going to give me money during the weekend. So I told myself, I said, and I don't want to take up any more time, but I'll just say this. I told myself I'm going to make a certain amount of money with the other job that I'm working with, right, the law firm. I'm going to make a certain amount of money. And if I make that certain amount of money before summer, I'm quitting. Because that certain amount of money that I was aiming for and the goals of like, and that goal that I set for myself was almost 3 times what I would have gotten paid during summer. And I made it in 2 days. So I said, fuck it, right?
And you invested it all in crypto.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I had to. I'm gonna invest it in saving up for like one. I'm gonna make sure I have my rent taken care of and stuff for the next 3 months, and then I'm gonna go hard on booking shows and making sure I have money to travel and make those shows too. So
there you go.
That's my next.
Let's go.
My next thing, man.
That's beautiful, man. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's
no, dude.
powerful,
I had to
powerful.
honestly, because like what you were saying right now, like it resonated with me 100%. Like whenever I think about that, like I'm always kind of like scared to make that jump. A lot of my friends have made that jump and then had to reel it back, and that's fine too. But I see all the stuff that everybody's doing. I see the environments that I see other people in. Josh was gassing me up fucking like 2 weeks ago because when he watched a comedy special for one of his favorite comics, and he's
not.
Like,
first of all, he's not one of my favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, he watched a comedy special for a comic, one of his favorite podcasters.
I'll say that. We can give that.
And so he watched it, and then he was like, "Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you were in the right place and right time, you would be funnier and more successful than this dude here." And I was just like, shit, bro, that's a big compliment. Thank you. And he was like, I'm just kidding. Go fuck yourself. I was like, yeah. But I only remembered the first part. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, man, that's it for me, man. That's how I feel, and I'm going to go through with it, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah.
So subscribe to our Patreon because I might
Patreon.com/AOTVcast. Yeah. And as we kind of wrap up the cast here, there's a ghost apparently that appeared mid-episode, and Roger's definitely haunted or at least bewitched. I don't know, one or the other. And I don't know, man. A closing statement, something you want to leave everyone with?
Buy some Bitcoin.
No financial advice.
Nah, I think if you guys can take anything from episode 200 is that just keep. If you're an artist, we're talking to artists here, to creators. Actually, everybody's a creator. Everybody's an artist. We just decide at one point that we're not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah.
To get a real job, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I think it is to explore your curiosity, man. Like, I think a lot of joy and a lot of life comes from tapping into your curiosity,
Sorry.
tapping into that childlike spirit. And a lot of us at some point in our lives decide that's no longer worth pursuing because, you know, you can't pay the bills with that. But I think we're living in a new era, and no matter who you are, no matter how great you are at your specific art form, I think you'll be able to, if you go all in and you really, truly, truly feel that this is your calling, like, go for it. And you're going to be able to maybe not become multi-billionaire like Elon Musk, but you'll be able to live a life of adventure, man, and you'll never have to say that you sold your soul for comfort.
There it
Right
is.
on. That's just period.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop. That's the fucking episode. Go check out House of Clay. It's on everywhere you can get any podcast. It's also on YouTube.
Yes, sir, thank you.
The letter E is a 3 in the word house.
Correct.
Right, yeah. So
Meaning
House of
for
Clay.
Web3.
Yeah. So go check that out. Follow Jeff on Instagram, Digital Jeff. If you don't already, then go do that. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/AOTBcast. We actually dropped like 2 Patreon episodes for everyone on there.
This last one was really fun. I had a lot of fun doing that last episode.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
good.
It was like a little impromptu. It was very much just like off the cuff, and
Yeah.
it was fun. And also, huge sorry, first of all, to our patron, Ernie.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't on there anymore because it wasn't, but apparently you are. So thank you for your continued subscription. We love you.
Yeah, over here throwing mad shade
yeah.
at Ernie, but he's a good friend.
He's a good friend.
Patron.
He's a great friend.
We love
He's a
all
patron,
of you.
So all 7 of you, Ernie, Alex, Marlene. Go check out That's Just My Opinion podcast. Go check out Alex's Twitch stream, which is kind of good, kind of trash. Follow him on Instagram, Mr. AV Kind of Fit. Isaac, Peter, Monica, and Mr. Lemon. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much for your support. We love you.
Hey, next week we do have a mic drop. That is
Yes.
a comedy open mic event. It happens at Cultura Beer Garden upstairs every other Thursday. The next one is next week on Thursday. So that's
exactly a week from today, because you're going to be watching this Thursday.
Yeah, you'll be watching this
or
on
listening
Thursday,
to this, watching this, however you do it.
So yeah, it should be, I think, the 17th, May 17th or 18th. I don't remember.
If you're interested in sponsoring the show, DM us on Instagram. Reach out to us on aotb.cast@gmail.com. Go to our website, aliensontheborder.com. Go to our sponsors page and click Become a Sponsor. You can go any of those routes. And that's it, man. That's all we have for you guys. Episode 200.
I have a show May 20th at Cultura Beer Garden. I'm doing Cultura Live again. And I have a show May 18th at the Fallout Theater in Austin, Texas. So I'll see you all out on that one, too.
I'll be at various open mics across the radio.
Hey, Josh is doing really good at comedy. He's starting to take it seriously. So keep your eyes peeled for a funnier Josh.
All right, man. Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.
And to finish off, shout out to our sponsors once more, Guru Cats. Go check out the website, gurucats.com, GURUCATZ.com. Use the promo code AOTB for 10% off the entire store.